So today we are going to continue our chapter. So we go to the slide. Let me ask you to go to the slide. And this is okay. So this is the continuations of the previous topics that we have to discuss. This topic is very important because it gives you a kinds of perspectives on strengthening the claim that you want to make, or you when you want to argue something. I think this is very important to have, because something like this is the, let's say, things that you have to explain later on. Okay. So the first one is inference, as I wrote down in the lesson plan, and we have 4 different things today: inference, explanations, evidence, and credibility. The first one is inference. As stated in the book, I think infer mean this is drawing a conclusions using usually from factual or supposedly factual information. So when you want to infer something, then it means that you draw conclusion. You make a kinds of a little bit something beyond the text, something beyond explicit. Explicit things, like something like that. So inference is coming from the word infer. So to infer mean to draw something, or to draw conclusions. So the information usually it is a kind of giving background. So giving grounds for the inference is the information. So when you have a claim, you are making inference, right? Judging something, or giving the kinds of information to the readers that you want to claim. This is the inference. So judging whether an inference is safe is therefore similar to judging whether an argument is sound. So it's you are inferring, you are inferring. In this case, you are inferring, and you make a kind of inference. Let me give the example. For example, we go back to the the example in the book. This is number 1. For example, these banknotes all have the same serial number. So all genuine banknotes have different numbers. So look at this one. This is a conclusion. The banknotes are not all genuine. So now go back to the go further to the example, more example. The banknotes are forgery. So the banknotes are the work of terrorists intent on destabilizing the economy, and so on. So this is so number inferring 4 from 1 is here. Okay, is jumping. Is a kind of blatant example of jumping to conclusion. So look at number 4. Yeah, this is number 4. Let me make it larger. Okay. So number 4 means this one. The banknotes are the work of terrorists intent on destabilizing the economy. it is the conclusion of number one. But when you make a kinds of inference from by using the sentence of number four from the facts of number one, it means that you are jumping, you know. But when you look at this one, for example, okay, number one, if you ask what can be inferred from number one, most people would probably answer this question. This is the number two is the proper conclusion or proper inference of number one. So, for example, this one, right? From this fact, the fact is the sentences number one in number one. The banknotes are not all genuine. It means you conclude from these two sentences. These banknotes are all the same serial number. All genuine banknotes have different numbers. So, therefore, the banknotes are not all genuine. Moreover, this would be a safe inference because number one provides very good ground for number two. Okay. Of course, number two is not the only inference that could be drawn from number one. No, it is the only safe one. So then there will be something that you can also take for the conclusions of number one by saying number three, right? The banknotes are forgeries. This is the inference, the two inferences from number one is number two and number three, but number four is not good example of good inference. Okay. So drawing inference and judging the reliability of inference are especially important in scientific context. So when we want to make an argument, as we are listening and we are learning together so far, I think making inference is the point or the basic idea of what we are talking about so far. And then now we go to the next one. This is explanations. When you make a claim and you need grounds and you have a kinds of inference over there, then you need explanations, because without any good explanations, your reasoning is cannot be accepted by anyone else, right? So you need to make a kinds of language or supporting ideas to make your claims or your reasoning or your inference are clear in this case. So this is called explanations. Explanations all involves giving reasons, or you can call this reasonings. By explaining something, this is reasoning. So when you give reasonings or you make a kinds of argument to your claims, then I think the important thing is your language in this case, your wordings, your explanations. So explanation needs a kinds of the language which is scientifically true in this case, or the explanation should make your arguments or make your your ground or your claims sound, something like this. So let me give you an example. This one, for example, if you have the claim seawater is salty, right, and then you have to explain. It means that you are giving explanation, you are giving reasonings, or you are arguing in this case. So the rest of the sentence in number 1A means supporting the idea of the being salty of the seawater, right? So this is the example of explanation. For example, if you have this one, this is the rest of the sentence after you see the seawater is salty, and then you say this is because because the river water that drains into the oceans flows over rocks and soil. So the river water draining into the oceans, in this case of flows over rocks and soils, I think this is the cause of the salty, okay? And then some of the minerals in the rocks, including salt, dissolved in the water and are carried down to the sea. This is a kind of reasoning. And then, number two, for example, the river water that drains into the ocean flows over rock and salt. In this case, the rest of the sentence, some of the minerals in the rocks, including salt, dissolved in the water and are carried down to the sea. Consequently, seawater is salty. In the last sentence is confirming confirming the conclusions of the claim seawater is salty, something like this. So by having such kinds of explanations, I think your claim seawater is salty is sound. It means that it is plausible, something like this. Those are both explanations. This is example of explanations. I think to be more precise, they are the same explanation with slightly different wording. Actually, those two sentences or those two examples, A1 and AP, 1P and 1A, I think are the examples of word explanations, but the same thing, but different wordings. The first one is the idea, or the main idea is in the first sentence, and then the second one is in the last sentence. I think it is similar to when you are making writing, you have to make a kind of topic sentence, right? This is called in grammar. We have in grammar or in the context of writing, I think we have a kind of topic sentence and supporting ideas, something like that, or topic sentence, topic and the explanation, the supporting ideas. So explanation in this case works in the opposite direction. They take something that we know or we just assume to be true and help us to understand it. In this case, I think you have to know that the truth is very important in the explanation. So explanation plays very important role in making your judgment or your claim true. So you have to make a kinds of explanations which come from the true informations. Okay, now plausibility. Plausibility is plausible. Plausible means it should be true. This is plausible. So the truth is the plausibility. So yeah, the sentence, I think we can have the explanation to the ground. So if there were any doubts about our explanations, then scientists usually could measure the minerals are dissolved in the rivers, as I told you in the examples. They could test the rainwater, and then confirm that it is pure and so on. But not all facts and happenings could be explained with the same confidence. So you need the kinds of plausibility in this case. And then why it should be plausible? Because you don't have to jump to conclusion, because if your conclusion is too far, your conclusion is not related to the things that you previously written, I think, or wrote in this case, I think it is jumping conclusion in this case. So assessing whether your inference is jumping or not, or your conclusion is jumping or not, I think you can see the plausibility of your wording, right? So In this case, whether your explanation is plausible or not, it means that they can follow the, what is it, the soundness of your plausibility or your inference. And then anomaly or anomalies. This is anomaly, means things that is different from the usual. This is anomaly. So usually we have a kinds of things that is not in order track, something like things that is different from usual. This is anomaly. Okay, now we go to evidence, the third word. This is evidence. Evidence means something that you take as your ground to make the fact or to see the fact. This is evidence. Practically anything can be evidence when you see things as what is it, something like for example this one, footprint, and then blood stain, written or spoken statement, statistic, a chance remark, or an email, or some CCTV footage. And there are so many evidence in life. I think you can use evidence means the fact, right? So there is a good evidence or bad evidence. It is just as there are good or bad reasoning or reasons, conclusion, I think. So evidence is good when you are what you are talking is being used for evidence. I mean, your evidence support the things that you claim. I think this is evidence. So I think it is clear that evidence means something that you have to say about the fact, something that you have to firm, or you have to, what is it, to support on your saying. Types of evidence. There are so many types of evidence. I think when you go to saying something, or you go to, what is it, to go to your claims, I think you have evidence of testimony, for example. So you giving an account, or testimony as a witness statement of someone, for example. This is the witnesses of someone. When someone is saying about what we are doing, what we are talking about, I think this is a testimony. I think this is very what is it, very familiar words for you, I think. Testimony. So in this book, I think it is called account. Account means narrations. Yeah, not account in the bank, but account in this case is the narration, written form, or what is it, a spoken form of given statement. This is called a testimony. So account of something that the person has witnessed or experienced in the first hand. First hand means you are the first people who see, or who to experience the things. So we can call this as the first hand, or the first hand information, or something like this. This is called testimony. For example, if you want to let's say, for example, if you make a kinds of English course, right? And then you want to offer your English course to the publics, and then you need a kinds of, evidence that your course is a reputable course. Then you take one or two of your students who have already been successful in your course, and then saying to the public that this course is very good, and teachers are very professional, and then the facilities are better than the others, and so on. And they have to say something in the public, and this is called testimony. And this testimony is one of the types of evidence. The second evidence is circumstantial evidence. It's kinds of fact or sets of fact which may be used to support the conclusion. I think circumstances. I think the fact is that there's these situations or something like what is it? Clear observational evidence in this case. For example, if you see, okay, my course, and then you can make a kinds of video, and then this is the circumstantial evidence as your course. Corroboration, the next corroboration, from the word corroborate. Corroborates mean supporting, something like making clear that everyone is okay, everything is okay by supporting it. This is corroboration. So when you have a claim, and then if there is no one believe you, then you have to make someone or someone else corroborate, support your evidence or your claim. This is corroborations. So usually we have corroborate each other. It means that there are various items. What I mean is when you have more than one evidences, and then so many evidences, and the evidences are related each other, and it will bring you a kind of final conclusion that your claim is good or your claim is right. I think this means that your evidence are corroborating, right? Something like the togetherness, or what is it? The corroborating each other, or corroboration each other in this case is supporting each other, or making a kinds of clear evidence each, and then you can conclude that there are so many evidences, and then it means that it is true. This is corroborations. Well, now we go to the next terms, credibility. This is the last. Credibility is how justified we are in believing it. So in this, to make a credibility, it means that you make your claims believable, right? You say with confidence that your claim is true. This is called credibility. So in this case, there are two factors of credibility to find out that your claim or your inference is plausible or right. In this case, you need to see first whether your whether your claim is plausible or not. The plausibility or the truth of the degree of truth of your claims in this case. The first one, the condition of the first factors of credibility. So for example, if you want to know that you want to claim that the class or your class is quite professional class, then how will you say to person that your class is really professional? And then you need the kinds of the first one is plausibility of your claim. Is your claim right or not, right? When you say right, then your explanation should be right, and you have to have more corroborations, more evidence, and more things to judge supporting your claims. This is the first one. The second one is the source. I mean, when you have evidence and then you say something, and you have more evidence of your claim, someone sometimes asks something about the source of the things that you take for evidence. This is what is it, the source. So there are two different kinds of factors which can determine the credibility. When you get the two, and then your claim can be called credible. Right? Credible mean, credible is confidence. I mean, not confidence really. What is it? Credible mean believable or something like. Someone can guarantee that your claim is really a good claim or a right claim, so on. Okay, now we go to the so-called what is it? This is there are two other important things in credibility: neutral and vested interest. Yeah. And corroboration, I think corroboration. Neutral means anything about sources can be neutral or tendencies, right? Neutral means there is no what is it, interest. And vested interest means when you are not neutral, then you have vested interest. Vested interest is when you have interest in some issue, then you tend to make some issue good or better or worse because of your interest. This is called vested interest. So when we are talking about things, the arguments, I think you have to be neutral, not having vested interest. Okay, so in conclusions, we have to talk that, or I have to address you that this for things or for different words or for different terminologies are things that you have to put in mind when you are making a kinds of arguments or making a claim. As I told you, as we are learning so far, I think this is arguing something or making a kinds of making a kinds of argument. So inference, and then explanations, evidence, credibility. This is theoretical information, right? You may not be able to understand or digest these kinds of things before you go to the a kinds of practical issue or practical examples. So by having practical examples, I think you will understand, or you will be able to digest these kinds of things. This is talking about scientific procedures, I think. Okay, let me give you the the practical things that you should. Let me go to experience, and I think the inference is very clear, right? Inference means making conclusion, and making conclusion means giving claim. Claim can be opinion or fact, as I told you earlier, right? So, but your claim can be right or not. Your inference can be right or not based on your explanations. Okay, your explanation is something that you have to explain for for underlying your claims. Okay, all right. So explanation should be good. So explanation should be objective, and explanation should be plausible. Plausible means should be right or true. Okay, fact or logical opinion, all should be, or all should be true, right? So in this case, you have to put in mind this word. Okay, while the evidence and the credibility are the accessories or something like the further explanations of supporting the explanations. When you explain something, your explanation should be credible, right? Credible means you are not going to the vested interest. You are not in the positions of tendencies, but tendencies positions, but you have to be neutral. you don't have any vested interest and so on, right? Okay, by having evidence means you make an evidence. Your evidence should be free of interest. Your evidence should be clear and plausible, right? So this is the things that you have to take as your understanding. Okay, let me give you the this book. I think provides some explanations or some exercise. I think. Let me find you some. Yeah, this is called practical one. Case one. Yeah, the case one means. So learning to have to apply this concept, you have to read this case 4.5. Yeah, two cases. Let's say one case or the case one first. Who is telling the truth? There is a kind of case. There is a case, a certain case, and this case you can read this case in this book in the first. Okay, this is the case. The diagram is a plan of the management suite in the first floor of an firm's premises. Some money has gone missing from the safe, and an investigation is underway. So you have this is the safe, saving like what is safe? Saving money, a box for saving money or something like this. So some money has gone missing from the safe, right? The money has gone, yeah. And then you have to know who's telling the truth. So you have to know the credibility of informations from three different positions: manager, secretary, and deputy manager. Okay, this is the wall clock. This is the canteen, and so on. Three people are employed in the manager suite. This place, there are three people important to know: manager, secretary, and deputy or deputy manager. Okay, the manager is Mr. Man, the deputy manager is Mr. Deb, and the secretary is Rita. Okay, only the manager knows the safe combinations. The manager is someone who is very important. Okay, and then you can read the evidence from the secretary, the managers, the deputy managers, and the driver. All the accounts, or this is a testimony of the of each person from the three. Even the drivers give testimony, and then you can read it by yourself at home. Learn it. Which one is what is it? Which one is I mean, who is telling the truth, right? So the activities is that following in the form discussion of the previous chapter, assessing evidence given above using so from the these three persons, you have to conclude who is telling the truth. This is the the assignment, ya. Jadi prakteknya seperti itu ya. Jadi nanti dibaca ini. Minggu depan saya tagih untuk telling the truth, or telling who is telling the truth. You have to address who's telling the truth. Maybe you can read it by yourself and then make a kind of inference. Yeah, inference. Inference, as I told you, inference is something that you have to draw, the conclusion that you have to draw from these three persons. Okay. Yang masuk akal yang mana, yang tidak masuk akal yang mana, look at the picture. Gitu ya. Saya kira ini kasusnya sederhana. Jadi, okay, let me show you the, okay, this is the, what is it? You can read the commentary. Actually, everything is already answered there. but you have to be able to, what is it, to retell the story of this case. Ya. Nah ini kan ada yang case itu sudah lain. Jadi yang ini ya terakhirnya itu komentari, Anda baca di situ komentarinya. Komentarinya di situ dimengerti, kemudian Anda baca. If you have other opinion of the commentary, that's okay. But if you you agree with the commentary, yes, that's okay. It's up to you. There's a corroboration here. What I mean is that by reading these kinds of examples, I think you know what is meant by evidence, you know what is meant by explanations and then inference and so on. Oke, kalau sempat dibaca yang itu juga, tapi itu ini enggak usah. Ini kan sama manajer juga, cuman kasus lain. Oke, is it clear? So what you have to do, all you have to do is understanding the 4 cases, and then telling or discussing or reading, reading and understanding the 2 cases, the cases, case 1, ya, one case, case 1. Jadi itu di apa namanya, baca, dan nanti next week akan saya ajak berdiskusi dan semua harus bunyi gitu ya. Ini memperbaiki Anda yang mungkin nilai-nilai yang kemarin agak tidak baik, atau mempertahankan yang baik. Jadi misalnya kemarin itu baik, saya ngecek lagi baiknya itu apa, baik kebetulan apa enggak, kan gitu kan. Jadi kan kadang-kadang kita ini kan kalau menilai kan pas anak itu betul-betul menghafal, kayak mengerti, ya itu kan bisa dicek. Tadi saya cek lagi apa yang Anda lakukan kemarin, sehingga pada saat diskusi nanti Anda harus menunjukkan diri Anda. Kalau kemarin dapat 82, 83, pas diskusi harus bunyi. Kalau enggak bunyi, atau nanti saya cek satu-satu. Kalau enggak bunyi berarti yang kemarin itu bisa masih jadi keraguan saya gitu. Tapi kemarin yang misalnya dapat sederhana, dapat 60 atau dapat 70, bisa lebih aktif lagi, sehingga saya memberi apa namanya, ada apa namanya, semacam inference dari saya. Oh, berarti Anda kemarin jeleknya itu karena situasinya tidak memungkinkan atau karena nervous dan seterusnya. Jadi penilaian supaya komprehensif nanti tetap ada tes di terakhir ya. Untuk mid-nya enggak ada, jadi kita tiadakan mid-nya, tapi final test-nya tetap ada. Sehingga nanti ada perpaduan antara nilai tes dengan nilai face to face dengan nilai diskusi hari berikutnya. Jadi kalau diskusi itu next week enggak cukup 1 pertemuan, maka bisa 2 pertemuan. Kalau 1 ini saya lanjutkan ke materi berikutnya. Right, any questions? Ini enggak semua hadir ya. Ada 23 yang hadir ya. Berarti 22 orang berarti. Okay, if there is no more questions, I think that's all for today. So remember next week you have to read the materials and read the case ya, harus dibaca untuk case-nya. Thank you. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.